people should come out. Mandela, in a block. When I get one problem now. Can I pass, please? I don't know, wait.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Okay.
All right, that is the clip coming directly from Federal High Court, Abuja. As I'm talking to you now, Nnamdi Kanu's court case has entered a heated level. It is heating up so badly. When I mean so badly, it is heating up badly because a lot of things is being reviewed as I'm talking to you right now. Now, the judge Omotosho has actually declared a trial within trial. Now, what actually caused this? Now, the judge ordered the trial within trial to determine whether or not the statement made by the defendant was not under duress. Now, Nnamdi Kanu, clarified through his counsel that the statement he made, during his capture when he was abducted, that was the 2015, I think 2015, yeah. After the PWCCC witness, that is the third witness, who is a senior officer in the SSS with 27 years experience, said he made a statement. That was after he was being interrogated in the interrogator room. He showed the video and he showed the statement of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu's counsel now clarified that Nnamdi Kanu made that statement under duress. And do you know the funniest thing? Nnamdi Kanu also revealed to the judge that he was bleeding through the note after he was beaten. And they threatened him that if he doesn't make a statement, according to what they want, that they will make sure that they remove, the airtime they give to him. Because of Nnamdi Kanu was under solitary confinement, he was treated in all kind of ill ways. So most times, the place he was staying, there was no air. I could remember when he complained about this later on, Now, they brought in, that was how he was able to make that statement under duress. Now, to ascertain if truly what Nnamdi Kanu is saying is true, the judge ordered a trial within trial. And let me explain what a trial within trial simply means. A trial within trial is a legal procedure used in criminal trials, particularly in jurisdiction like Nigeria, where a confessional statement, a statement made by the accused admitting to a crime, is tendered as evidence, is essentially a mini trial within the main trial, designed to specifically determine whether the confessional statement was made voluntarily or involuntarily. As I'm talking to you right now, they are currently on the trial within trial, not even the main trial. So they're having a trial to determine if Nnamdi Kanu made that statement, wrote the statement under duress. And this is exactly what they are handling. I'll be giving you more and more information on this court trial on the other channel. I'll give you the full, cross examinations and the video evidences of that cross examination on the next video I'll be dropping concerning this. The court trials is coming pass by pass, and we'll be giving you more full detailed information on the full court trial. Let me tell you, it is getting hotter and hotter, and the reality is, the sweetest part is that the defense team is capable. We believe in them, and they are doing a good work despite all the gathering of all the witnesses against Nnamdi Kanu. Whether 27 years, as a senior service, whatever, or 50 years, the reality is that, they are being told what to say. And when they are cross-examined, they start blabbing. It's as simple as that. So we'll be giving you more information on that. But let us still continue on the issue of Nnamdi Kanu and the court trials and what this whole court trial is all about.
This. So that those who are not aware should be aware that every single thing we are doing, every single thing Nnamdi Kanu has done is within the confines of the law, within the ambit of the law, within his human right, and no court of the world will put him behind bars. In fact, these 5 years and the other 2 years he has spent already should be heavily compensated heavily. And the only compensation we need is Biafra, nothing else. African Charter, Article 20. Where is it? I'm already there, so let me search for Article 20. Because I like him. Yes, here we are. Here we are. African Charter, Article 20. Before we continue with this, or do you want me to finish this? Let me check how many lines are remaining here. Okay, fine. We're already finishing it. So we are going to go to African Charter after this. So let's continue here. Let's continue with this. Remember, they can never talk about ESN. Now, I will tell you why I said so. When asked whether the defendant was charged with damaging anybody's property, AAA answered, maybe not personally and virtually. He said there were social media messages where the defendant was inciting violence, but did not know one person or who carried out any act of violence because the defendant incited, because he didn't know anybody that carried out act of. Did you know? You see, it's very, very simple. Look at it. Act. That's why I said speaking or saying something is different from acting something. I use that word, act, because that is doing. Because if you do it, that is you have done it. But when you say it, it's still within that freedom of speech, which has no limitation. You understand? Now let us laugh, my people. Let us now. Put on your shoes, your dancing shoe, because we're going to laugh and dance. Now listen here. Now Kanu called Nigeria a zoo. And in the ears of morons, it is a crime. In the minds of the idiots, in the minds of buffoons, in the minds of monkeys, it is a crime. Enwo, a crime to call the zoo a zoo. How can it be a crime that you call the zoo a zoo? Is Nigeria not a zoo? It's a zoo. Now they said, PW1 further said, though he could not remember whether the defender said there is a corruption youth unemployment. PW1 further said, oh, the cafe video gate was na kainaga. PW1 further said, though he could not remember whether the defendant said there is corruption, youth unemployment, and a lack of development in Nigeria, but remembers the defendant calling Nigeria a zoo. So, is there any place in the zoo constitution that says if you call the zoo a zoo, then it's a crime? Is there anywhere in the zoo constitution that says if you call a zoo, then you have committed a crime? Hey, alumel. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu go the zoo, but I want see. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, Tigo fam, but I want to say, no, I'm just now, Murobafa. No wonder he was laughing when I was showing his video. When asked whether he remembered that the defendant said IPOB was not an armed group and does not give armed training to its members, he said he remembered the defendant saying IPOB does not bear arms. There have been fires in Kaduna, Zamfara, Benue. Let me tell you, I did not read here before saying what I said. It is called common sense. To be honest, we are reading this together. I only saw the headline. From beginning, I saw the headline alone. Even when I talked about ESN, when I talked about what is happening in Benue, Kaduna, Plateau, Brown, all those places, just a couple of minutes ago, I have never read here in the first place. But it's called common sense. Those that operate in this frequency always know even what is going to be said or happen in the next few minutes. Not that we know tomorrow. I don't know tomorrow. I'm not God. But I use my common sense that God has endowed me with to know what is going to happen next. Or predict, not know. I don't know. But to predict, yes. To predict what is going to happen next. I have the capability and capacity to predict what is going to happen next. In most cases, it happens like that. But in some cases, it doesn't happen. As a human being that I am. It's called common sense. Now, let's listen. There have been fires, unalivings in Kaduna, Zamfara, Benue, Plateau, and other parts of the north. Are those unalivings based on any agitation for separation? The defense counsel asked. Back I gonna paralyze the zoo. I paralyze go the zoo. Now let's listen to the whatever. To the best of my knowledge, no. Triple A answered. Church Abasagona. He further stated that Nigeria's highways are safe to a larger extent. When the defense counsel asked, many Nigerians have been buried on their farms, in churches, in mosques, etc. Schools have been attacked and students kidnapped or buried. Trains have been attacked and passengers kidnapped and buried. These unalivings are not product of any agitation for separation, are they? The Triple A said no. Ebe ọ nọ kịta ọ na-anyụ mamịrị na panty ya. Oh, yeah, regret. If I had known, I shouldn't have, unless Emilia force. But if he willingly provided himself to be a witness to a failed and corrupt entity like the zoo, by now on a mamre na pant. ọ na-anyụ mmamịrị ọkụ na nsị na pantị. Onye gara ya nso ọ na-esi puu, ọ na-esi puu because o jugo nsị na mmamịrị wee nyụkasịa pantị ya. Mad people everywhere, ụmụ okoko. He said, the case featuring terrorism and treasonable felony charges was originally instituted in 2015 following Kanu's arrest in Lagos. Major setbacks have held the case down for almost a decade, making it impossible for the prosecution to call witnesses and present exhibits until Tuesday. The case started with 4 people initially charged as Kanu's co-defendants. However, in February 2018, the then trial judge Binta Nyako severed the trial, separating Kanu, who had fled the zoo, from the other defendants. The trial severance allowed the prosecution to continue proceedings against the 4 remaining co-defendants. The Nigerian government, not rearrested Fabego Channels Television, kidnapped Kanu in Kenya in June 2021 and they subsequently extraordinarily renditioned him back to the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom, Nigeria. So, now, before going to the African Charter Article 20, that has given us the impetus and, of course, the freedom to do what we do, let me search for updated information. Pay attention today, Bokunono. The zoo will be buried today completely. Completely, they are going to hide their faces in shame. Let's see if there is an updated info. It's over for the zoo. Pay attention while I search for any updated info before we go straight into the African Charter that has given us the right to do what we do. And remember, the zoo is signatory to it. Okay, I think there's an updated. Yeah, Okukalekwa. Okukale here. Oh my goodness me. Okukale. Hold on, just a moment. I think I would have to let's go to African Charter first while I take my time to to see the next updated news, to see if truly is updated or if it's the same thing that we have already seen. Let's go to African Charter, Article 20, verses 1, 2, and 3. Where is it? Yes, here we are. All right. Pay attention, please. If you haven't liked the broadcast, you haven't shared it, please, I want you to do so right now while we move into this very important segment of this very broadcast at African Charter. Please like and share the broadcast. Very, very important. Use these few seconds to share the broadcast before we move into this very important segment. Very, very, very important. I can assure you, my people. I want to show the world the reason why there is no any court in the law in the world that can jail a freedom fighter unless it is only what happened in a place whereby nobody is aware, and then it happened unaware, then years later we begin to hear about it. Listen and listen very good. You see, in Cameroon, you have a man called Tabe Sisuku. I've made a broadcast about him several times in the past. Many of you who are old timers here will understand what I'm talking about. So Sisuku Tabe is the real leader of Ambazonia War of Liberation. Not even War of Liberation, Ambazonia Governing Council and Ambazonia Liberation Movement. Sisuku Tabe is the main leader who started it. There are two reasons here. Two things happened, which I'm about to talk about. I'm about to tell you right now. I want you to pay attention. Sisuku Tabe started the movement for the independence of Ambazonia before Cho Ayaba joined him. Sisuku Tabe made a mistake. Number one, there was no media. He was unable to set up a media in order to propagate the gospel of redemption and freedom of his people to the international community, to the world at large. Then the government of Cameroon started hunting for his head. Right? They chased him until he fled to the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom, Nigeria. And the moment Paul Biya realized that Sisuku is currently in the zoo, he put a call across, and the zoo government, I think that should be under Buhari, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was under Buhari, and he was arrested. Either under Buhari or under Obasanjo. Either on, I will check the year because I can't remember which year he was kidnapped in Nigeria. He was not arrested, he was kidnapped. And there was no extradition trial in Nigeria. They did the same thing they did to Nnamdi Kanu. They kidnapped him in Nigeria. I think it was under Buhari. They kidnapped him, automatically renditioned him to Cameroon. And before we even continue with Sisuku, let me tell us, there is a current news now. There's a current news. There's a man from Uganda. Let me tell you another sin, another Kenya crime. There's a man in Uganda who is talking about freedom of Uganda people from Yoweri Museveni. Yoweri Museveni has been in power for the past 30-something to 40 years. Many young people in Uganda today were born, grew up, seeing their president as Yoweri Museveni, and now they are 30-something years. Some of them are 40-something years. Yoweri Museveni is still the president of Uganda. This is the same thing that is happening in Cameroon. So, and it's a crime. It's an abomination. It's an abomination. So, now, there's a man who's calling Yoweri Museveni to retire and leave Uganda alone because Uganda has suffered a lot on his hands. Yoweri Museveni started looking for the man's head, and the man has to flee Uganda to Kenya. I'm telling you what is happening currently now. Yoweri Museveni, upon realizing that the man was in Kenya, he collaborated with Kenyan government led by this idiot now. And they kidnapped him without extradition trial in Kenya. They renditioned him back to Uganda. And today he is in the custody. I don't know if they have jailed him, illegally jailed him, or is still going through trial. I don't know. But currently, he has been renditioned to Uganda. So Kenya stay adding to their crimes against freedom fighters. You understand? Now, back to Sisuku Tabe. Sisuku Tabe was kidnapped in the zoo and renditioned back to Cameroon. As he was renditioned back to Cameroon, they did that, and we found out about sharply. They jailed him illegally. They gave him life imprisonment in Cameroon. As I'm speaking to you right now, Sisuku Tabe is in the custody, is in the prison, serving life sentence. The same thing. And that is what gave birth to Dr. Cho Ayaba that many of you know today. The story that I'm telling you now, if you are not an old timer, if you have not been following me for the past 5 years, you will not know the story. Are you paying attention? So that is what happened. Sisuku Tabe is serving life sentence unless Ambazonia is free. If not, Sisuku Tabe will serve the sentence. He is there till today. As I'm talking to you now, he's serving life sentence. So the mistake there was that he didn't have media to let the whole world know what is going on, at least to shut the Cameroon down. So this thing France now Burkina Faso because they go for so they forgot that Sisuku Tabe is in life sentence without committing any crime, without doing anything, committing no crime known to law. They illegally jailed him in Cameroon. That's why we are shouting. That's why we are shouting for Mazi Nnamdi, because when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped in Kenya, we knew that this is going to be different from his arrest in 2015. Are you paying attention? We knew. I knew it. I knew it. Yes. That's why when the order came from China Sanworu that men should lay down their arms, go home, and should be and will be called back when duty resumes, I said no. It's not going to happen. Because this is the time we needed these arms. This is the time, because our leader has been taken, the Fulani will invade us if we are disorganized. I started shouting on top of my voice on this same platform. Although on our main platform, not this one, but on the same Biafra Unite platforms. I started shouting. I said, no, this is Aro Uneliga Kazo, because this is not the time it is only common sense. You don't need to be told. You don't need to be told that something I go wrong somewhere. Kedu kesi blues our leader. A CZM no drop if jinaka na sizia. So far now since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu no ya, obluzi kite emeli ya kidnap ya ki asa na. How? How can you explain it? How? It's because of out of my old experience. That's why you Jonjo last time. Why our hit and run fight will end there the moment our prime minister was taken. And nobody should tell me divide the fund, they divide that fund. Because of what? No, na bago to wata. Office in taka. Ya no son eme. I will let you know. Because many of them they are say na fear on social media. Farmer be milisi we ban opio bagro. Farmer be fenema isi we bido. Including many in the Demaru Kefajiko Ebru Juggernaut.